नमस्कार, मैं अमिताभ बच्चन। मैं सभी दर्शकों से कहना चाहता हूं कि हम लोग इस समय हमारी फिल्म बदला की प्रमोशन में बैठे हुए हैं और कई दिनों से इसका प्रमोशन कर रहे हैं। लेकिन जब हम अपने फिल्म की बात करते हैं तो हमारे मन और हमारे हृदय में उनके लिए आदर सम्मान, जिन्होंने पुलवामा में अपनी जान गंवा दी, शहीद हो गए, और उन जवानों के लिए जो हमारे देश को सुरक्षित रखते हैं ताकि आप और हम चैन की नींद सो सकें।
This director has a knack for thrillers, and the actor I'm with is every director's dream to work with. Why it was so important that you would not do this film without him. Post the film is done and the film is out there. Do you feel satisfied?
Oh, more than satisfied.
Yeah.
Way more than satisfied. I think saying satisfied would be an understatement. Because honestly, when we were writing that role, when I was sitting and creating Badal Gupta, and I genuinely didn't see anybody but Sir in that role. And the kind of gravitas I needed in the role, the kind of personality I needed in the role. I mean, like, had Sir agreed to the role, that would be like half the battle won. So, yeah, without him, there wouldn't be any Badal Gupta.
I don't agree a word of what he just said or what you just said about my introduction. I keep saying it all the time. It's most embarrassing. But yeah, so let's just talk about the film.
Sujoy mentioned in an interview how during the filming, there was a time when you used to apparently give like a bad take on purpose to see if he's alert enough to catch
Yeah,
it.
I read about it, and I think it's wrong. It's completely wrong. I have not done that. He may have assessed that this is the way I'm kind of testing him. No, I've genuinely given a bad take. Sometimes an actor will know that it's a bad take and he will ask for another one. And there have been many occasions during the making of this film when I've done that to Sujoy. But, you know, when you work with somebody as mad as him, then you can expect anything, and he will put his own interpretation. He's deliberately done that just to test whether we're all awake on set or not. Why shouldn't everyone be awake on set? I mean, you come to make a movie, you not come here to sleep.
Correct? I mean,
So,
we agree.
How did you come to this
Conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, how can you? That's wrong. There's genuinely been a mistake.
No, but
or there has been my interpretation of how I should say the lines, which he has disagreed with, and he will come and tell you. He'll say, "I think you went over the top.
Yeah.
I think you need to be a lot more subtle and calmer," and I follow that. And when I see the result, I feel that yes, he was right, I was wrong.
And having this kind of rapport and ease that you have with Sujoy as well kind of helps to make it even more collaborative process, right?
Yeah, I think if you worked in an environment where you know the people that you work with, you know their temperament, I think it makes it easy. Many a times when you work with a new director or new producer, you spend a lot of time actually understanding each other, and all that time can be, sort of be useful in spending time on the film rather than finding out what the character, what they want, what they like, what they dislike. So, yes, because I know Sujoy from long, it always makes things a lot easier.
First of all, congratulations, 50 years in Indian cinema. I think it's quite a milestone. I personally feel that you're one of the actors who's adapted himself so beautifully with times that have changed.
Yeah,
And
I'll stop there. When you say, and I just want to correct you, when you say adapt, I'm not adapting. It is the writer and the maker who's finding something that is adaptable to me, my countenance, my age, my grey beard, whatever. I have not adapted to it. So that's a correction, and a lot of people feel that this is, and they assume that this is what it is.
Okay, let
But
me rephrase it.
I honestly am telling you, we don't adapt ourselves to the times or whatever it is. It's the writer, it's the maker that finds a role and finds me, and then we just perform.
Fair enough. So I'll say you went with the flow.
Yeah.
But like I said, you've made yourself relevant. Now that is why I feel it's because the kind of choices that you've made. They may have been offered to you, but the ultimate decision of you choosing to do those roles have also made you sort of stay relevant. But staying relevant is also a very important trait for an actor. How do you do that?
I don't like the usage of this word relevant or how I make myself relevant, because it makes it look like a deliberate exercise that I do, and I don't do that. I just feel it's fate, it's good luck, it's just happening to be at the right place at the right time, rather than, okay, this is the way I'm going to plan myself and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to visit this guy's office and sit in his office until he gives me this role. I'm going to chase this particular writer. I'm going to chase this particular leading lady and say, please work with me. I mean, I keep doing that all the time still, but it looks like a process. It's not a process. It's just that somebody has found me capable of a particular design that they have in their mind and offered it to me. And I'm just taking it because I get another job, as I've been saying all along.
If I spend 2 hours in a hall and I come out with happiness, whether it's with Sir's acting or listening to some good music, anything which makes me happy, I'll always be indebted to it. So his acting makes me happy. It always made me happy when I was a fanboy, and I still am.
Somebody comes and narrates something to you, all right? And what you look for is not, hey, this is in line with the process that I'm following. No, it's not that. I think you look at the subject and the story and the producer in its totality, and you wonder whether this is a nice story to be involved, rather than what this story is going to do to my career or to my image or whatever. I think you look at it in totality. At least that's how I look at it. Will I enjoy playing this character? Will I enjoy being a small part of this project? I think those are the things that matter.
Of course, the collections have been doing well. There's a 70% jump already. But first, Sujoy, to you. There's a good mix of critical reviews and critical acclaim that's come in, and of course, the box office is catching up. But what matters most to you?
All of it.
All of it?
I'm here for the whole thing. Whether it's box office or whether it's critics or whether it's the audience. I need to satisfy all this. I mean, that's my ideal, case scenario. I would like to do that. Because that's how I've been trained throughout my life. And even when I was in school, I was always made to think, in an exam you have to rank, you have to do this, because that's how I'm tuned, I'm conditioned like that. So even this is the way I quantify my work.
What about you, sir?
I will never be able to be a critic. I think a critic's job is really difficult. They are the experts. They have the expertise to be able to analyze a film when they see it in a very short span of time. We spend years, months working on it, and are unable to find that little analysis that they will come out with. And so we have to have the deepest respect for them. Many a times it's important to notice what they have said, and I would like to say that if there are points which are valid, I would like to use that to improve upon it, to share it, to make sure we don't make the same mistakes again. And there are many mistakes that we make. That's how I would look at it. So yes, and in today's day and age of communication, I think the general audiences, because there's such a vast variety of entertainment available now, they have to make up their minds what they want to go to. And sometimes the opinion of the critic is really valid for them to be able to go and spend that kind of money which they are spending to go into a theatre and watch it. They could well sit back, wait for 3 or 4 months and hope that it will come on television. And a lot of people do that. But for them to actually go the way they have, for this film in particular, and for which I'm truly grateful, I don't know figures. I don't know how it works. When this film was ready and people were talking about it, some of the pundits of the box office, they said, this film, on the first day, if it does 1 crore, 2 crores, consider yourself lucky. I said, okay. So when the collections came in and it said 5 crores, so I said, so what do I do? They said, I think you need to have a cup of coffee and just relax. Then I said, what's going to happen the next day? So the next day said, you know, normally it's about 30-35% if these are the figures for the first day. And then this morning they tell me it's a 70%, which is twice as much as what they predicted. So that's gone up to 8.5 crores. So I've just had another cup of coffee. And then now I'm going to ask them, so what happens on a Sunday? So they yesterday told me that on Sunday it should be another 30-35%. So if it's 8, then you can expect it to be about 9 or 10. So we'll meet after on Monday and let you know what happened on Sunday.
Sure, I'd love to
As
know
long
that.
as you have another cup of coffee, we are okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as long as you, the coffee continues I think
Yeah.
it's sort of in sync with what the box office results are right now.
The coffee solved the problem in Badla.
And who would have thought?
And I hope that it does it here as well.
Give the most honest feedback to you, or your honest critics
Oh,
who know
okay.
the real you.
Yeah, members of the family, they will tell you straight. And there are a couple of other people who, producers, directors that I've worked with, they'll give you a very honest opinion. Because, they're on familiar terms with me and they can, you know, tell me to get lost and things like that.
They actually come and tell you if they don't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
something.
So sometimes members of the audience, and on social media, because it's so wide and varied and reaches all parts of the universe, you can get you know, reactions from them which you like to listen to.
Which are
Not all
directly
of them are sometimes complimentary, and some of them are quite abusive and rude and things like that. So you listen to it. I think it's very healthy to be able to.
Take it with a pinch of salt.
I don't know. I'm told not to have any salt because it's not too healthy.
Yeah, not good for health.
That's
We can
true.
try.
Only
But yeah,
figuratively.
some of them, you know, they will notice things which sometimes you don't. So why did you do this? And I like the idea of this film being placed in Glasgow, but what we miss is its Indianness. So we talk about the fact that, you know, I mean, how more Indian can you get than references to the Mahabharata and to Krishna and to the
Sure.
Pandavas and to Draupadi than that? Why have you placed it in Glasgow? Why couldn't you have done it here? Okay, that's a director's decision. And if you're in Glasgow, why is everyone talking Hindi? Yeah, because it's a Hindi film. I mean, what else do we speak in? When Hollywood comes and makes a film in India, do they speak Hindi? They don't. They speak English.
Yeah.
So we're okay.
We
Am I
are
right?
okay.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely,
thanks.
absolutely.
So
I
who are the
mean,
ones-
You're keeping too quiet, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
because
No,
no,
I'm
I'm the silent, the strong silent one type.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, but
Take
this-
over the interview from
Yeah, but now same thing to you. Who are the ones who understand your layers, who are trying to really say, and who can give you honest feedback to you?
I mean, today in this day and age, anybody can say anything to you. You can't really stop anybody.
But the ones that matter.
You know, honestly, people can only tell me whether they like it or don't like it. It's as black and white as that. You know, because for me, even if you tell me why you don't like it, I can't do anything about it. I mean, I'm not being. I mean, I totally accept it, and
Yeah.
but I can't do anything about it because I can't tell you that, hey, I'm going to change it in the next film, because the next film is its own animal. Next film has its own demand, right?
It'll be completely different.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
you'll probably come with the same abuse for the next film also, because each film has its own demands.
Always spoken about how the script writers are a very important part of the film and they are principal. And I completely agree with you on this. And there is an ongoing discussion about how they need to get better credits when the looks come out, and also, of course, the low, you know, about the pay scale that they have, and that's a constant fight that is happening. What are your thoughts on it?
I've always maintained that they are the most important people, and yes, they should get equal credit. And the payment part is the producer's decision.
Sure.
And you know, I don't know how that works. But yes, if they demand a certain amount of fee, why not?
You're a writer yourself. What do you have to say on this?
No, I think we treat writers very badly in this industry, at least in ours. I think they need to be really, really reevaluated. You know, as Sir says, they are the most crucial part of a film, because without them there is no film. And we accordingly need to treat them with that respect, both in terms of credit, both in terms of the payment, because you see some writers getting paid so piddly amount, right? And writing is a very, it's a very intense process. You can't do anything when you're writing. So it's very hard to write when you're thinking, "Arey, electric bill kahan se do, ghar ka paisa kahan se lao?" So you have to give them that environment to write, and that can only happen when you pay them well, and that has to change.
Their notice and the amount of attention was, I may be wrong, but it started in my time with Salim Saab and Javed Saab. When they wrote and they weren't given any credit, they actually went out on the street on these banners and painted their name on it. I think that was a beginning, which is now caught on, and writers are beginning to get the kind of importance that they should. They are the most important people.
There's a shift from this is the hero and the heroine and the villain, and now it is about putting all the characters, making them more interesting, and making them an integral part of the narrative. You've been on both sides. What do you think of this progression?
I think the progression has to, the credit for that must go to the audiences, because they are the ones that are deciding. If you see and read some of the comments on social media about any particular film that comes out, there's now a certain terminology that they use for the kind of films that were made in my time and the kind of films that are made now. It's not pulp anymore. I think that's the word that they use. It's something new to me. This is not pulp cinema. It's different. A lot of the critics that write today refer to the films of those time being, pulp fiction, and this is a definite story. I think that's got to do with the way the attitudinal change of audiences throughout the years, and which is very good. There is the pulp fiction that works.
Sure.
Let me, just be very clear. There is a
The
very large
larger than
audience.
Scar
Very large audience.
action.
Yes, they will all see that, and they do massive businesses. I mean, in recent times, you've seen a lot of examples of these films. They've done, 300, 400 crores. But at the same time, there is an audience that will go and see our small little effort as well. And if the small little effort is drawing sufficient attention to be profitable and to be appreciated, then I think there's some signs of victory here for the makers.
Like when I was growing up, there were one Doordarshan News, right, and one Anand Bazar Potrika.
Correct.
But now there's so many avenues of news and information, and you're getting to see people in different lights. The same person you knew from one angle, you're also getting to see the same person from a different angle, another side of the character. So that we can now incorporate without shocking the audience or anybody else for that matter, because people expect certain shades of grey within you. It's not all black and white anymore. There's not one hero and heroine and vamp and comedian and all that kind of thing. It's everybody.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. When you say that there was just one Doordarshan, there was just one Amrit Bazar Patrika, I think the audience was limited to their opinion. Now with millions of opinions coming across, I think the audiences have now the liberty and the strength to make up their own minds.
Yeah.
And that is what is now being reflected in any kind of creativity, any kind of writing that we do.
Any form of art.
Whether it is the newspapers, whether it is the television, whether it is films, art, music, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The horizon has become wider because the audience now has the liberty, which are much larger liberty, to be able to make their own minds up. You can have a million opinions on what the film Badla is about, but this particular audience that has gone and seen it and patronized it, thankfully, and thank you so much, audience, that they have made up their mind themselves. They're not being influenced by the millions of other things or that very pointed, deliberate effort.
Mr. Bachchan, I was interviewing Shah Rukh once, and we had spoken about, and he had told me about how when you're a star and you have a certain image, oftentimes you want to explore as an actor so many other things, but advices given to you are quite opposite to what you want to do, saying that, oh, this is going to go against your image. Has that happened to you?
I think Shah Rukh is doing things that he wants to do, which is really very marvelous for an actor to think like that. In my time, we never had the opportunity to think like that because we were dependent on what the makers were wanting us to do. So, if I'm working with, say, Manmohan Desai, and he would be listening to a story, and the writers would say, so साहब वो हीरो जो है वो इधर से आता है और सामने से 5 जो हैं वो विलन आते हैं और उसको फिर उनका रुक जाओ 5 कैसे होगा यार, वो पिछली पिक्चर में उसने 5 को मारा था, अभी 10 विलन लाओ. That's the kind of thinking. So you are just expanding the horizon of what the audiences are used to. I have in a sense, the advantage of age because I don't think you can play around with that anymore. It'll have to be a very decisive, pointed role, and you can't experiment and make it look larger than life or whatever it is. It's not going to be believed. So all the roles that have come in recent times and in the past 10 years or so have been more commensurate with my age, and that's how it should be. For Shah Rukh to say that he wants to do something different and he's not allowed to because that's a very personal decision.
Sure.
But as someone that has looked at him as an actor, I have always enjoyed the ones that he's done out of the ones that he's created his image on.
Yeah.
So I loved him in Swadesh. I thought that was one of his best performances. Yeah. I love little moments that he has done in several other films, and I tell him that, and I say I like that. So this is my outlook, that is his, and
Sure.
whoever's decision he's taking, one must give him the freedom to think like that. He keeps experimenting with something different. It's very brave.
Yeah.
It's very brave of him to do that.
He told me about how he doesn't want to do biopics because if he venerates someone, he has absolutely zero interest in knowing what his personal life is.
I'm interested in his work. I'm interested in Kishore Kumar's songs. I'm
Yeah.
interested in R.D. Burman's music.
But not in his life,
For
correct.
me, it doesn't matter how he was as a person because I don't need to know that.
Sure.
I like reading about them. I like documentaries that are made about them. I see them. But if they were to be made, if they were not to be made, I wouldn't miss them either.
What's been one of the most interesting sort of comments that you received on social media about Badla?
There were one or two that were quite unique. Like, why did they have the interval? I didn't want to go out. I wanted to stay. Nobody went out of the hall when it was interval. That's how glued they were to the film. And I think in Dubai, somebody wrote and said they didn't have an interval, and it was perfect.
I think by far that one.
Somebody said, the popcorn and Coca-Cola are going to suffer because nobody's going to buy them.
Normally, I get a lot of feedback from Sir's extended family. And,
Like they tag you and they tell you all of that.
yeah, and I think it's a happy family right now.
Yeah.
I've been, since the release, I've been going out to social events, and the people that have been coming up and saying nice things about the film are 90% ladies.
And Tapsi said that a lot of times we don't see a lot of huge actors coming in a film where the principal character is a female, and it's great when people do that. What do you have to say about this?
It's an opportunity of another job for me. I don't really look at it that way. I'm happy that a big female star was there, and I was just a sidey. I don't mind that. That's good. So long as the film is seen, that's fine. I did Piku, where
you
Deepika
did.
was the main person.
Absolutely.
I did Pink, where all the girls were the main people. That's fine with me.
I like that word, sidey.
Yeah, both of us smiled
Yeah,
at it.
sidey.
But
What's wrong with siding?
Nice credit, sidey, Amitabh Bachchan.
I'm
That's
saying-
nice credit to have.
I'm sitting by your side, buddy.
that you look at it as just another job, thank you. Because I think it helps to push the project. It just makes it bigger.
Need to understand that you're not pulling the audience in anymore by your name. It's the younger stars, the younger generation. They are the more popular ones. So if you have them in the film, then they bring the audience in. And then you leave it to the audience to decide. So they're not coming in because of the fact that, you know, I'm in the film or something like that.
So
I'm not pulling the audience.
So you really
It's
feel
the younger stars that are pulling the audience. So
you said that in, I remember because you said that now, Deepika, but you really feel that you're not pulling in the audience.
please introduce me to those audiences because.
Okay, fair enough. We shall agree
you
to
know.
this. I think you've rapped really well. It's giving competition to Ranveer right now with Kali Boy and all of that.
I actually saw Gully Boy 10 times to be able to match or even come near a Ranveer Singh. I met him last night and I told him, thank you so much, Ranveer. I've copied you and I tried to copy you and I failed miserably. Don't ask me to do this. I don't know how to rap. I don't know what it means. It's the song. It's Clinton. It's, you know, it's Amit Mishra who sang, is Jizzy and all those fantastic people. How can you speak so fast and in rhythm? It's a nightmare.
Thank you once again.
Thank you so much,
you.
man.